Well, welcome. Welcome to my interpersonal communication project for the course HSCO 508 at Liberty University. I am Ada Lopez. I would like to start this presentation with some important elements of interpersonal communication listed on slide 3. I'll give you a moment to go through them briefly as I get prepared to start discussing interpersonal communication. Ready? Okay. As you can read on slide 4, I included Stewart's definition of interpersonal communication. It is a type or kind of communication that happens when the people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. Please move to the next slide because now we have to discuss then what is the personal. And according to Stewart, is the group of 5 distinctives of a person, and they are unique, meaning we are non-interchangeable; unmeasurable, meaning the comprehensive personal human experience cannot be measured; responsive, as opposed to only reacting; reflective, not only we are aware of our surroundings, but we are aware that we are aware; and addressable, meaning they are called or spoken to in a language and can mutually respond with language as well. Now please proceed to slide number 6. I have a goal to improve my communication skills, and it is based on James 1:19, and it says, "Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." Please note the 3 elements of this verse: quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. I will later come back and provide an action plan to develop my goal. Moving on to slide 7, let me introduce the concept of enlarging the conversation. Enlarging the conversation derives from the following equation: identify needs plus intentional resourcing. In any given conversation, and with the purpose of enlarging, one must first accept that the other person might not have the same view on the subject of discussion as you do. Consequently, our way of communication should be distinguished by willingness to accept another's perspective. In a sense, it really takes intentionality to take the conversation a step further. Once a need is identified and possible resources discussed. For this, there are many communications tools that can be used, like asking clarifying questions to help to reach a positive outcome in the communication exchange. Also, knowing the behavioral blend of both parties is going to help to utilize the base communication style. In slide 8 to 9, I talk about background and my personal behavioral blend. I am a 35-year-old Hispanic female. I am the youngest of 7, and my father died when I was 6 years old, so I was raised in a one-parent home. I was raised Christian with a profound emphasis on fearing the Lord and respecting His commandments. Additionally, my mother always instilled in me the importance of working and studying diligently. Lastly, I'm a single mother of a 7-year-old daughter. Next slide, please. According to this inventory, I am what is called a type D personality. This means that I am direct to the extreme that I can be blunt, so I will communicate with you in a straight to the point fashion. Decisive, I really have no problem with conflict. I'm a risk taker, argumentative, task oriented, and result oriented. Oh yes, I like getting things done. Yeah, there is a leader inside of me. Mayfield talks about the necessity to bridge the gap between the leader's intent and employee outcomes through verbal communication with the prospect of enhancing employee motivation. The reason why I mentioned Mayfield in my presentation is because I find that in my leadership position at work, my communication style with my subordinates needs to be enhanced. So in a way that this gap is non-existent. That will be my goal. Did I mention that I like results? I like focusing on results. Since this project is about communication, slide 10 shows what is the best way to communicate with me. Please look at the upper right corner. Basically, I understand concise, logic, and accurate information because this is how my mind works, and that is also how I communicate with others. For example, when somebody tells me something in a bogus way, I feel uncomfortable. I am confused. I don't know what to do with that. I don't even know what is expected of me. And I'm not good at reading between the lines, and I don't either like trying to do so. Just tell me how it is. No sugarcoating. I can take it. Slide 11. Queendom seems to indicate a more positive side of my communication style. Listen that what the results of the communication test was. It says, your results indicate that you're fairly adept at interpreting other people's words and actions and seeing things from their perspective, although the rare misunderstanding may occur. Overall, however, you seem to realize that empathy is an essential part of good interpersonal skills and therefore will do your best to place yourself in other people's shoes in order to better understand them. For the most part, you can sense what others are thinking and will likely adjust your behavior accordingly if a person you're conversing with seems confused or perhaps uncomfortable. There might be the occasional time when you pay more attention to the message you're sending rather than how it's received. With some time and experience, you'll likely be able to improve your insight even more. Now, I am going to talk about communication barriers. Slide number 12 shows the communication barriers according to Stewart. If you wish to read through them quickly, because I will focus on the barriers I have identified as more troublesome to me. Next slide, please. These barriers are deception, but this is more related of how I take deception from others, because I don't customarily and I don't tend to be deceptive. I'm not suspicious enough. I don't think that anybody else is going to do that. And so I'm going to quote Matthew 10:16, and it says, I'm sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. The second barrier is the hurtful messages, and to me this relates to the tendency I have to attack others verbally when I feel insecure. Colossians 4:6a applies to this tendency, and it says, let your conversation be always full of grace. The last barrier is the manipulative use of power. Because of my type D personality and the leadership aspect of it, I can easily try to be manipulative, and that is not something I'm proud of. The second part of Philippians 2:3 hits home like no other to me. It says, in humility, value others above yourself. Slide 14 starts with the subject of internal and external noise pollution. According to Burley Allen, noise pollution is the noise that distracts our communication interaction. There are internal and external noise pollution as described in this slide. If you advance to slide 15, it shows that both internal and external noises need to be turned off. It is a matter of practicing the practice of turning off. And although it's easier said than done, I want to work at it until it becomes second nature. I'm almost at the end of my presentation, but this is probably the most important part. How am I going to apply what I learned in class to enhance my communication skills? In slide 6, I'll tell you my overarching goal was to be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. How am I actually going to do this? Please turn with me to slide 16. Quick to hear. This passage, James 1:21-27, talks a lot about our attitude of listening, but due to time constraints, I'm just going to read verse 21, which says, therefore, get rid of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. Then, slow to speak, Proverbs 10:19 says, sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent holds their tongue. And then lastly, slow to wrath, James 3:14 says, but if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambitions in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Final thoughts. I just happened to come across a video that shares how sometimes the best interpersonal communication occurs when action is taken and not necessarily in the way of a verbal response. I hope you enjoy. That link is on slide 17, and I hope you enjoy it.